We are starting with prayer song. This will be followed by Sundarakanda shlokas, their meanings, then one prayer shloka, followed by a story from Panchatantra and the story of a legend, then the meaning of one Telugu poem that is related to mathematics. This will be followed by Vedic mathematics. So this is the total sequence. Now we are starting. Everybody please recite for yourself. Om Sharadindu Samahakare Parabrahmaswarupini Vasara Pitha Nilaye Saraswati Namostute. Om Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Now Sri Venkatagaru will start telling us the shlokas from Sundarakanda.
So can you, last time, so we heard this shloka about identifying the right time to achieve your target. And that is what we did. So we did, you remember, concentrate on the present one and think others later. And then after that, we did the identify right time to achieve your targets. Now we will go to the next one. Can you all see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Andy.
Artha, artha, ananta, artha, anartha, arthanartha, antare, arthanarthantare. Make sure these mahapranas are clearly heard. Tha, okay? It is not a dha, it is a tha. Tha, mahaprana for tha becomes tha. Arthanarthantare, buddhihi nischitapi, buddhir nischitapi. Mahaprana dha. Buddhir nischitapi na shobhate. Again Mahaprana bha. Okay? Arthanarthantare buddhir nischitapi na shobhate ghatayanti. Again Mahaprana gha. Wherever you see these Mahapranas, if you have a script, underline that so that you make sure you chant that Mahaprana correctly. Okay? Ghatayanti hi karyani. Also, this anas also, it is not the same as na. Na is different from ana. Okay, make sure the anas are clearly heard. Dutaha pandita maninaha. Dutaf pandita. Whenever a visarga is followed by a pa, generally you hear a sound of fa sound. Okay, Dutaf pandita manaha. Maninaha. Pandita maninaha. Ardhanarthantare buddhir nischitapi na shobhate ghatayanti hi karyani dutaf pandita maninaha. So one padam will say, Sri Kriti Narayana will repeat it. Okay, everybody repeat it loud, even though you are on mute. Repeat it loud. Only when you repeat loud, you will get it clearly. Okay. Arthanarthantare buddhihi.
Arthanarthantare buddhihi.
Loud, 2 times.
Arthanarthantare buddhihi.
Nischitapi na shobhate.
Nischitapi na shobhate. Nischitapi na shobhate.
Ghatayanti hi karyani.
Ghatayanti hi karyani. Ghatayanti hi karyani.
Dutaf panditamaninaha.
Dutah panditamaninaha. Dutah panditamaninaha.
So two padams together loud. So in this first line, 2 padams, when buddhihi nischitapi becomes buddhir nischitapi. Okay. Arthanarthantare buddhir nischitapi na shobhate.
Arthanarthantare buddhir nischitapi na shobhate. Arthanarthantare buddhir nischitapi na shobhate.
घातयन्ति हि कार्याणि दूताः पंडितमानिनः
घातयन्ति हि कार्याणि दूताः पण्डितमानिनः घातयन्ति हि कार्याणि दूताः पण्डितमानिनः.
Okay, so now we will listen to the meaning and then we'll come back to the full shlokam.
Here, Hanuman, now he starts thinking to enter into the fortress of Ravana. That is into Lanka city he wants to enter. Then already he has decided when to start and in what form he has to start. All those things already we were discussed. Now he says, I must be very careful. I should not feel that I know everything. If I feel that I am a scholar, and then if I behave like that, without knowing everything, then I may be spoiling the things. Normally, the Dota is called agent or a spy. Here, if the agent who is asked to do some work, if that agent does not know the things fully, but he thinks that he knows everything, then he will be spoiling the things. That is the message he is conveying here. Now that sentence, that is third and fourth charanas we have explained. Now let us come to the first one and second one. Artha anartha antare buddhihi nischitapi na shobhate. If a person is not well read, he is not expert in the subject, then previously what is the work to be done and what is the work not to be done, though it is well defined, which is to be done and which is not to be done. But this person who doesn't know fully, then he will be getting confused. And then ultimately, he will be doing a thing which is not to be done, and he will not be doing a thing which is to be done. So that's why, he says, Ghatayantihi karyani dotah panditamaninaha. Those dotas, those agents, or those spies who think that they are the scholars, those who think that they know everything, but they do not know. That type of people, because of the limitation of their brains, they will be spoiling the works assigned to them. So I should be very careful. I should not think that I know everything. Though normally you see, though Hanuman knows everything, but still how humility he is expressing now, you see, obediently he is thinking, very carefully he is planning. That type of actually quality we should acquire. Whenever a task is given, we should not take it easy. No, I can do everything. No, you should never think. Even if it is small work, apply your mind clearly, apply your mind carefully, and plan the total thing, even for a small thing. Then you will be doing the things successfully. Otherwise, the things will be spoiled, and the Yajamani, the owner, actually, he will be suffering for us. For the mistakes done by us, then he will be somebody else, will be our officer, will be suffering. That type of scope we will never give. We should never give. That is the meaning actually here. And we should be very careful in planning the things and in execution of the things. That is the brief meaning of this shloka. Next, sir.
Learn the meaning. So we will, now you should have got all these words in your mind. So let us learn the whole shloka. Okay. We'll chant once and you, Sri Krishna Narayana will repeat twice. Okay. अर्थानर्थान्तरे बुद्धिर्निश्चितापि न शोभते घातयन्ति हि कार्याणि दूताः पंडितमानिनः.
अर्थानर्थान्तरे बुद्धिः निश्चितापि न शोभते घातयन्ति हि कार्याणि दूताः पण्डितमानिनः अर्थानर्थान्तरे बुद्धिः निश्चितापि न शोभते घातयन्ति हि कार्याणि दूताः पण्डितमानिनः.
Very good, sir.
So this buddhihi nishchitapi, when you say together buddhir nishchitapi, it is okay if you are breaking it. Okay, if you cannot chant continuously, it is okay if you break, but if you break it, you have to say buddhihi. So we'll go to the next slokam. Okay, so prosperous with sounds of factories. So we'll go word by word. Tam ratna vasana, tam ratna vasana upetam कोष्ठ महाप्राण कोष्ठ आगार अवतंसकाम आगार अवतंसकाम आगार यंत्र आगार स्तनीम बुद्धाम महाप्राण ध प्रमदाम इव भूषिताम. Underline this Mahaprana again. Underline the Sha also. Okay. So Bhushitam. Tam Ratna Vasana Upetam Koshtha Agara Avatamsakam Yantra Agara Stanim Buddham Pramadam Iva Bhushitam. Okay. Tam Ratna Vasana Upetam.
तां रत्नवसनं
మొత్తం చెప్పంటారండి.
మొత్తం అది స్వరంతో అదే సంధులతో సహా చెప్తే చేయండి సార్. తామ్రత్న వసనోపేతాం కోష్ఠాగారావతంసగాం యంత్రాగార స్థనీ మృద్ధాం అలా చెప్పేసింది.
ఓకే తామ్రత్నవసనోపేతాం
ताम्रत्नवसनोपेतां
कोष्ठागारावतंसकां
कोष्ठागारावतंसकां
यंत्रागारस्तनीं वृद्धां
यन्त्रागारस्तनीं
प्रमदामिव भूषिताम्
प्रमदामिव भूषिताम्.
Okay, two pads together. ताम्रत्नवसनोपेतां कोष्ठागारावतंसकां
ताम्रत्नवसनोपेतां कोष्ठागारावतंसकां ताम्रत्नवसनोपेतां कोष्ठागारावतंसकाम्
यंत्रागारस्तनीं वृद्धां प्रमदादिव भूषिताम्
यन्त्रागारस्तनीं वृद्धां प्रमदामिव भूषितां यन्त्रागारस्तनीं वृद्धां प्रमदामिव भूषिताम्.
Okay, so now we will learn the meanings.
Now here the sage Valmiki is describing the city of Lanka. How actually Lanka city is. Imagine, suppose India is there, that is felt as Bharata Mata, Mother Bharat. How is it? A land can be imagined as mother, as a human personality, or equally having this kind of physical structure, just like human beings. How it is possible? This kind of things normally, the great poets, they will be comparing the existing things on the land with parts of the body. This is a tradition that is followed by our great poets. For entire India, there is one shloka, just I will read out. Samudra Vasane Devi Parvatastanamandale Vishnupatni Namastubhyam Padasparisham Kshamaswame. Whenever we get up from our bed early morning, this is the second shloka that is read out. There he says, how is that Mother Bharati is there? That is, the entire Samudra is the cloth she has worn. The cloth that is worn by Mother Bharat is all the Samudras that are pervading it. Similarly, the great mountains, they are the breasts of that great lady. And I prostrate, I make my namaskar to this land, which is the wife of Lord Vishnu. Similarly, here also, actually, when you are comparing the land with a mother, then what are the things? What is the type of dress she is wearing? Then how is the body? These things most important. Here actually, what are the ornaments she is wearing? These three things are explained here. How it is this entire Lanka? She is like Pramadameva Bhushitam. It is just like a great lady who is well having all the ornaments, decorated, well decorated lady. That is. Then what are the things that we expect in the decoration? Very good. Sari must be there. What is that sari here for Lanka? Tam Ratna Vasanopetam. Lanka is famous for the great gems, Navaratnas. You know, actually we went to Lanka, Sri Lanka we went. There are several shops are there which are selling the gems. There are Indranilamanikya's are there, Marakatas are there, Vajras are there, Kempus are there, like this, several things are there. Sri Lanka is very famous for the gems. So what he is imagining, the sage is imagining, all these gems put together, imagine that to be a great sari. Yes, all the diamonds are the gems, valuable gems with different colors. They are just like forming a great sari. She is as if she is wearing that type of a colorful sari. That is one thing. Then there must be ears, ornaments must be there, ear studs or some other ornaments. Kosthagara Vatamsagan. Lanka is having several storerooms of jewels, money, very valuable things are there. All those things are just like the earrings, are just like ear studs. They are compared to that type of things. Then another important thing here putting here, Yantragarastani Murdhan. Great number, several number of factories are there in Lanka. All because a factory may be having a large, big sheds or towers or somewhere for sending out the used voice, the airs or other things, pollution must be going out into the sky. So they may be the very tall. That type of things they are compared with the breasts of a great lady. Yantragarastani Murdham, like this, with all these qualities, Lanka is just like a beautiful lady. This is one meaning. But another important thing is there. Please understand. This third charna, most important. Please get by heart this third charna at least. Yantragarastani Murdham. Second meaning is there. That's not normal meaning. Yantragara, the meaning is known to everybody. Yantra plus agara, a place where all the yantras are kept. It is almost equivalent to a factory or a workshop where the lathe machines or some other machines, they will be working. And stani means it's not the breasts of a lady. Stanitam means the sounds coming out of the factories. So the screen is getting shadowed. Stanim. Here, yes, no, it's all right. Stanitam means stanitam. Stanitam means it is the sound of the clouds that is given in the Amarkosha. Stanitam means the sound coming out of the factories or the sounds coming out of the lathe machines in the workshops. That also Hanuman is able to hear. Why actually he is able to hear? Actually here you see, this requires explanation definitely, but I will explain. Normally at what time he started? After sunset, after night started. So around 8 o'clock he started. But by the time the Rakshasas should go to sleep, so he cannot start immediately. At least say about 9 o'clock, assume that all the Rakshasas are going to sleep. By that time, the sounds from the factories, they are audible. he is able to hear. That is, all the workshops and factories that are working in the second shift and third shift. He is able to hear them in the after 10 o'clock also. That is, night shift also is working. Normally, when do you start the night shifts? Suppose a factory is producing some products. The products, the quantity of the product, how many number of things must be produced, that depends on the demand. So as much is the demand, so much will be the production. Suppose the demand is more, then the production must be increased. Every time we will not purchase new machines. Let us exhaustively use the existing machine. So then second shift will be started in the afternoon. Night shift also will be started. Now, when Hanuman is searching for Sita Devi in the night time, he is able to hear the sounds coming out of the factories and also the workshops. That is, the production of the various types of materials from the factories is very high to meet the large demands. Actually, by the time Lanka was part of India, a great part of great India. So, India was so prosperous, it was able to supply all types of materials which are produced on the machines also to the rest of the world. That actually is indicated in this, the shloka. Most important shloka is not just the comparison with a beautiful lady, but the prosperity of the country as a whole, that is reflected in one charana itself. Once that the factories are working means everybody is well employed. That is, everybody is rich. They are not having any poverty at all. That country is very prosperous and is able to cater to the needs of the entire world. That is indicated by this third charana. Very important shloka, sir. So actually, when you boys and girls, when you grow up, you should see that you start new factories or new workshops, create employment, see that this country becomes much more prosperous. That is the expectation from this shloka. Thank you, sir.
We will chant the whole shloka. Like Guru Garu said, so all your sounds in this third padam, right? Sound of all your this shlokas, knowledge, everything that should be so sound enough to create more and more opportunities for the rest of the world. Okay, so let us chant the whole shloka. Tam ratnavasanopetam kosthagaravatam sakam yantragaраstanim riddham pramadadivabhushitam.
तां रत्नवसनोपेतां कोष्ठागारावतं सकां यन्त्रागारस्तनीं रुद्धां प्रमदामिव भूषितां तां रत्नवसनोपेतां कोष्ठागारावतं सकां यन्त्रागारस्तनीं रुद्धां प्रमदामिव भूषिताम्.
Very good. So we'll go to the next topic.
Now, every week we are learning one very famous shloka related to one of our gods. This week, we have chosen one shloka from Sundarakanda itself. Here actually, you can slightly make it bigger, sir, if possible. Slightly. Yeah, substance. Oh, then other two lines are going down. Okay, sir. Previous one. Here actually I will read out. You also please chant. And this one more thing is, this shloka has one peculiarity. Whenever a person is going for some examination or for some interview, this shloka is a Jaya shloka. If you chant this shloka and go to the test or examination or competition or anywhere, definitely you will be successful. Hanuman actually, when he searched initially for Sita Devi, when he could not locate, he went into again distress. Then again he came back. He read out this shloka. He prayed to Rama, Sri Rama, and to other people also. Just I will tell you. Then he became successful. Now you see, I will chant out. Namos. You also please chant, though you are muted. Namostu Ramaya.
Namostu Ramaya.
Salakshmanaya.
Salakshmanaya.
देव्यै च तस्यै
देव्यै च तस्यै
जनकात्मजायै
जनकात्मजायै
नमोऽस्तु रुद्रेन्द्र
नमोऽस्तु रुद्रेन्द्र
यमानिलेभ्यो
यमानिलेभ्यो
नमोऽस्तु चन्द्रार्क
नमोऽस्तु चन्द्रार्क
मरुद्गणेभ्यः
मरुद्गणेभ्यः
I'll read it once more. नमोऽस्तु रामाय
नमोऽस्तु रामाय
सलक्ष्मणाय
सलक्ष्मणाय
देव्यै च तस्यै
देव्यै च तस्यै
जनकात्मजायै
जनकात्मजायै
नमोऽस्तु रुद्रेन्द्र
नमोऽस्तु रुद्रेन्द्र
यमानिलेभ्यो
यमानिलेभ्यो
नमोऽस्तु चन्द्रार्क
नमोऽस्तु चन्द्रार्क
मरुद्गणेभ्यः.
मरुद्गणेभ्यः.
Briefly, I will tell about the meaning of this shloka. And the structure of this shloka also is very important. Who is praying? Please remember, Hanuman is praying. First of all, whose name he is mentioning? Rama. Immediately followed by Lakshmana. That is, he is praying to Rama, who is always associated with Lakshmana. Similarly, now he is praying to, in the second line, Devyai Chatasyai Janakatmajaya. Janakatmaja means Sita Devi. That is, he is making a namaskar to Sita Devi. Then to whom else he is doing? He is making namaskaras to Rudra, Indra, Yama, Anila, Chandra, Arka, and Marudganas. Rudra, we know, he is Lord Shiva. Indra, he is the king of the heavens. Yama, he is a Dharmatma. Anila means air, Vayu Deva, that is father himself. Hanuman's father is Vayu. Then Chandra, because day god, night god. No, at that time it is night. So he is praying to moon also. Then again, he is praying to, because Rama's Vansha is Surya Vansha, he is praying to Surya also. Then he is praying to other Marudganas also. Other different groups of clusters of Marudganas are there. Air goddesses, gods are there. Here one important thing is, Rama and Lakshmana are mentioned in one charana, and Sita Devi is mentioned in another charana. Why? At that point of time when Hanuman is searching, now what is the condition? Where are these three? Rama and Lakshmana are at one point near Kishkindha, and Sita Devi is in Lanka. They are separated. So this Rama Lakshmana is one group, and Sita is another group. Sita Devi is another group. So that actually the Kavi Valmiki, Maharshi Valmiki is writing in such a way, the physical appearance and the physical separation also is indicated by the positioning of the words in the great shloka. Actually, this is very famous. Entire one line itself I will read out now. Finally, you please get by heart. Namostu Ramaya Salakshmanaya. Chappan sir.
Namostu Ramaya Salakshmanaya.
Devyai Chatasyai Janakatmajayai.
देव्यै च तस्यै जनकात्मजायै.
नमोऽस्तु रुद्रेन्द्रयमानिलेभ्यो.
नमोऽस्तु रुद्रेन्द्रयमानिलेभ्यो.
नमोऽस्तु चन्द्रार्कमरुद्गणेभ्यः.
नमोऽस्तु चन्द्रार्कमरुद्गणेभ्यः.
Today, just we are going to learn about the third part of Panchatantra, that is Aparishyatakarakam. This means, so we do certain things without any rational thinking, just without thinking anything, harshly, just in anger. That is called acting without thinking. So, in such cases, we have to face certain problems. That is that is not desirable. That is, it denotes how imprudence leads to losing what is important. Imprudence means just some act which is done rashly, hastily, without any thinking. So this is about a a Brahmin and a pet animal, mongoose. So a Brahmin, just there was a Brahmin living in a village. So there was a mongoose. It is a small animal. It was also staying with him in his house. And this Brahmin had an infant son, a small child. So what happened? One day, this Brahmin was poor. So he has to go, every now and then he has to go out for certain alms and all everything. So like that, one day he, along with his wife, went out in search of some alms and all everything. So leaving the child in the house along with the mongoose. So he thought, so this mongoose will guard his child. And then at that particular time, this child was also sleeping. So they have locked the door and went out. So after some time, what happened? A snake has entered the house, is stealthily moving towards the cradle, so where the child was sleeping. So this was seen by this mongoose. Mongoose and snakes, these two are natural enemies. So they are as enemies in natural, by birth, by born enemies like that. As soon as this snake moving towards this baby's cradle, the mongoose has seen that, and it immediately went towards this snake, and just it fought with the snake, and somehow it has killed the snake by breaking its neck, and cutting its body into pieces. It has killed the serpent, the snake. So what happened? So after some time, after a few minutes, after some time, this Brahmin with his wife, so they came back. So as soon as this Brahmin opened the door, the entrance, this mongoose, it has greeted him, just because it's very eager to show what it has done to his master by protecting this child. So it has its mouth, there were blood stains, it was smeared with blood, and legs, its claws were also with the blood-soaked claws. So this Brahmin has seen this scene, this mongoose with all this blood and all everything. He thought something else. He was so angry. He lost his senses, and he has thought this mongoose has killed his baby, the child. So without thinking anything, he immediately raised the stick and has beaten that mongoose with the stick and killed it. So after some time, just after killing that mongoose, he went near that cradle, and he found his son, his baby, he was sleeping peacefully without there was no disturbance, and he was sleeping sound sleep. He was in sound sleep. So after seeing the child, he felt very sad. What have I done? I have not thought anything before just killing that mongoose. I should have stopped for a while. I should have thought something else. So what I have done a very bad thing. Just there's no point in killing that mongoose because it has protected my child. So he repented a lot, but he lost the mongoose ultimately. So he was so sad, and he could not recover from that shock. So these things usually happen It's a naturally, because once in a while we face certain issues like this. So that's why people say, yes, before you do anything, just don't take any hasty decision. So you think before you act. That is the thing one has to do. That is, there is another proverb also, look before you leap. So suppose in anger, angry makes anything, yes, angry makes a man, he makes a man senseless, mindless. Just he will not think anything. So he takes any decision, just because senseless decisions and all everything. So this is how we have to protect ourselves. We have to guard ourselves from all these things. This is the moral of the story. Aparishita karakam. That is, one has to be careful before acting anything. So the second topic, we are coming to the second topic. That is we are going to learn about a legend. A legend this time, most of you must be knowing who that legend is. Sri Krishna Devaraya. So you must have heard his name. He was the emperor, Vijayanagara emperor, so of South India. He was the son of Narsanayaka, Tuluva Narsanayaka, and the mother the mother was Nagala Devi. So he was born in the year 1471. The period was 1471 to 1529. For about 58 years, he was there, and he ruled the country. He ruled the Vijayanagara Empire for 20 years, from 1509 to 1529. So his father, as I said, he belonged to the Tuluva dynasty. The first one is the Sangama dynasty, and the second one is Salva dynasty, and the third one is Tuluva dynasty. He belongs to the Tuluva dynasty, and his father was Narsanayaka and the mother Nagala Devi, and he had two wives, just Tirumala Devi and Chinna Devi. So this Vijayanagara Empire, there was a small story. There was a small story which we had to know how that Vijayanagara Empire. So what is the beginning? That's how it was founded. So what is the story behind it? So there were two brothers, Harihara Raya and Bukkaraya. So they were the commanders, ministers in the court of this Kakatiya Rudrayana. They migrated to Karnataka for various regions, and they were searching for a place to establish some sort of city or something. So meanwhile, one day they went. They went for hunting. They went for hunting with a dog, the hunting dog, hound, with the hounds. So they were chasing. These hounds were changing a hare. Because a hare is a very small hare. A hare means a rabbit, like that. So after reaching certain point, this hare has turned around and it started chasing these hounds. At that particular place, it has become very brave and ferocious, and it started chasing these hounds. So these two brothers, they wondered how it happened. Whether there should be some magic or miracle or some divine power at this particular place. So it must be very powerful. So they immediately went back and met their guru, Swami, Saint Vidyaranya Swami of Sringeri Mutt. So he advised after hearing their story, Vijayan Swami said, okay, let us see that place. What is the specialty we will see? So after seeing that place, Vijayan Swami has suggested you just build a city here. So it will grow like anything. It will be the most powerful empire. It will be the most powerful city in this South India and all everything. So it will grow like anything. So as per his suggestion, and they inspired to build a city there. Like that, they founded this Vijayanagara Empire, this Vijayanagara city there, and it will gradually it has grown into an empire, the Vijayanagara Empire. For 200 years, it lasted. So Krishnadevaraya belonged to that particular place, to the dynasty. What he has done, he has after his father, he became the king, and he expanded his kingdom, just the kingdom empire, to the entire South India, to the extent of northern part of Kalinga, Odisha also. So he has defeated the Gajapatis and Bahmani Sultans and other Golconda Nawabs and all everything. So he defeated all these Muslim Bijapur Sultans and Bahmani Sultans and Gajapatis. He occupied, his empire extended over the whole of South India. He has ruled the entire South India. So that was a great, that is how he has acquired the entire part of Southern India, and he has got the titles. He acquired the titles. He was known as Kannada Raja Rama Ramana, Kannada Raja, Lord of the Kannada Empire, and Andhra Bhoja. Andhra Bhoja means he was compared with Bhoja. So he was called Andhra Bhoja, and Moodu Raya Ganda, King of Three Kings. So like that, he has got 3 titles. And next, he was the most powerful Hindu rulers in South India, particularly in South India, and probably in the entire subcontinent in India. Krishnadevaraya, he established, he has got very good relationship with the Portuguese also. He allowed them to trade in India at a place called Goa, and in 1510, and he has got very good rapport with the Portuguese merchants and all everything. And so he used to trade, sea trade with the Portuguese and Persia and also. Next, he has got a very wise minister, very intelligent minister known as Timmarusu. His name is Timmarusu. He used to advise him in all his affairs in the governing in the kingdom and all those things. During his reign, so he has brought certain reforms. What those reforms means, he has abolished certain taxes like marriage taxes, etc. And he has taken certain initiative in developing the Vijayanagara city by taking the expertise of Portuguese experts and engineers and everything. He has irrigation. He has started so many irrigation projects and water works in the Vijayanagara city to have this drinking water facility and everything. So next, yes, please scroll it, sir. Yes, I will tell you. So as far as he is a great patron of literature, art, literature. He himself was a poet, great poet. He has written a poem, Amukta Malyada. A book, Amukta Malyada means that is, it is about about a Brahmin, Pravraksha, and an Apsarasa. It is a love affair, love theme. It is between them. It is like a very big poem. It is called also Manocharitra. Sorry, it's Amukta Malyada. It is written in Telugu. So in his what he has done, the Krishnadevaraya, he used to patronize so many poets in his kingdom. So among the poets he had 8 poets were there in his court, in his assembly. They were called Ashtadigajas. Ashtadigajas means the 8 poets. Ashtadigajas means they are the elephants. They are elephants in all the 4 sides, all the 8 sides of the earth. Just Ashtadigajas. Like that, these 8 poets are also they are called Ashtadhiggajas. They are called prominently. They are Alasani Peddana, Nanditimna, Madhagar Mallana, Dhurjati, Ayalraj Rambhadradu, and Pingal Sorana, Ramaraj Bhushandu, and Tenal Ramakrishna. Out of all these, Alasani Peddana is he has written Manacharitra, and others, they have written so many books, the poems, extracts taken from our scriptures, and they have written very beautifully all these kavyas they are called Pravandas, very good books. And Tenal Ramakrishna is he was very prominent figure among all these things. He was very famous for his wit and humor. He used to solve so many problems with his wit and his humor and intelligence. He was very fond of. He was liked by the emperor like anything. And Krishnadevara, as I said, Krishnadevara, he has written a Telugu poem, Amuktamajada. He liked this Telugu as like anything. He was a versatile personality. He knows so many languages, among them Telugu, Kannada, Sanskrit, and other. Next. See, it is a golden period. We call it. It is a golden period. During his tenure, he used to conduct these literary discourses, debates in his court. His court assembly is known as Bhavana Vijayam. Bhavana Vijayam means every day, just every now and then, he used to conduct certain debates or discussions with all the Ashtadhiggajas and all everything. There were exchange of these literary debates and exchanges and all everything. So he used to enjoy this sort of thing. Bhavana Vijayam means it is like Indra Sabha. Just we can call it like Indra Sabha, as if whatever is happening in the Indra Sabha, like that. Here in Bhavana Vijayam also, it is going to happen. It is going to happen like that. So these Ashtadhiggajas are, as I said, these Ashtadhiggajas are Alasani Peddana and Tenal, all these 8 poets. They used to be there, and they used to discuss a lot of all the literary aspects of the during period, whatever they have written. They used to exchange all those things. So this is the last part. This is the third part. He was a great patron of art and culture also. Art and culture. These two aspects he has taken, and he has respected all the religions and Hindu religions. He used to visit this Lord Venkateswara temple, Tirupati. He has visited so many times. He has donated so much of jewelry and just crowns, gold and diamonds, rubies, and everything, all valuables he has donated to that temple. And so he was honored for his charity. He was honored by installing his statues with his 2 wives. You can see those statues in the complex of the temple complex of Tirumala. So as in the picture, statues of Krishnadevara with his wives at Lord Venkateswara temple. And the most he has constructed so many temples. So among the temples he has construction means he has developed those temples. Among them is the Virupaksha temple is very famous, and Virupaksha temple is dedicated to Lord Shiva. And then the other one is Hampi. Hampi city, Hampi Vijayanagara is one and the same. Hampi is a part of the Vijayanagara city. It was the capital of the Vijayanagara kingdom, and Hampi was so famous in the world itself, not only in the India, just in the world itself. During his tenure, during his period, it has grown like anything. It was the most beautiful city in South India. So Hampi was the capital of Vijayanagara Empire in the 14th century. The Portuguese. So during the Portuguese travelers, whoever have visited this city, they have written about they have praised the city, they have written about the city, how it was and what it was, and how the things were there in that particular city, how it was managed. So it was so large. It was Hampi, Vijayanagara was the world's second largest medieval area city after Beijing, and India's richest at that time. It was so rich, attracting traders from Persia and Portuguese and other parts of the world also. The Vijayanagara Empire was defeated by a coalition of Muslim sultanates. So it survived. This Vijayanagara kingdom, it was flourished. It flourished for 200 years. After in the end, after some time, at the end of this dynasty, Tuluva dynasty and other kingdoms, these Muslims invasions, the Muslims have invaded this Vijayanagara, and they have destroyed. They have caused so much damage to this Hampi city, and they have destroyed so much of so many things in the Hampi city. So Hampi city was it was so beautiful at that time. So those ruins, and they are still present in the modern day also. It was recognized by the UN as a UNESCO heritage site, as a beautiful UNESCO heritage site. It was austere grandiose site. It was called. It was full of forts, riverside features, royal and sacred complexes, temples, shrines, pillar halls, mandapas, memorial structures, water structures, and others, and whatnot. So many things were there, but they were all damaged and destroyed, and only some ruins are there. So at present, UNESCO has identified it as a heritage site, an important thing, an important site. So this Hampi, it was mentioned in Purana also. It was ancient times. You can trace its existence in our scriptures also. In Ramayana also, it is mentioned. It is also known as Hampi Kshetra, Pampa Kshetra, and Kishkinda Kshetra, and Bhaskara Kshetra, like that. This Kishkinda Kshetra, as you all know, this in Ramayana, that was the meeting place where Rama and Lakshmana, Sugriva, and Hanuman, they met, and they started their activity to search Sita from their Kishkinda also. So this is how. So we can. This is how the background of this Hampi city, and how this Krishnadevaraya ruled the Vijayanagara kingdom, this empire. So we can know from from all these aspects. And in the year 1524, he has named his son as his heir, but unfortunately, he was poisoned to death. Subsequently, before his death, Krishnadevaraya, what he has done, he has nominated his brother Achyutaraya as his successor. Subsequently, what happened? Just after few, the next dynasties, the Muslims have invaded this Vijayanagara kingdom, and they have destroyed the most of the thing. It was disintegrated into just like any other kingdoms, which lasted for 200 years. This has lasted for 200 years. It was a golden period, those 200 years. So this is how. So we can know something about this Krishnadevaraya. So in the next episode, yes, we will.
Thank you, sir.
Discuss about another thing.
Thank you, Ramani. So today we have learned one Panchatantra story, and then about the greatness of one of our greatest emperors who ruled this country, that is Krishnadevaraya. Now let us go to the next item, that is a Telugu poem containing mathematics. I read out. You can read, though you are muted. I start. ఏడును మీరు కూడా అనుకోండి, ప్లీజ్ యూ ఆల్సో టెల్. ఏడును ఏ నార్లును కడు వేడుకతో ఆరు మూళ్ళు
ఆరు మూళ్ళు
వెలయగనిడి
వెలయగనిడి
తారూడిగా
తారూడిగా
30 మూటను
30 మూటను
తోడనే గుణించి చెప్పు
తోడనే గుణించి చెప్పు
ధ్రువముగా మాకున్.
ధ్రువముగా మాకున్.
The same Telugu poem is now given in English also. Transliteration is done into English as well as into Devanagari. Same words as it is. Here the meaning is, this also is related to multiplications. For multiplication, 2 numbers are required. So the first word that is in the poem, just okkasari poem display చేయండి sir, okkasari వెనక్కి. Here చూడండి, just I will first of all explain the words in the poem. 7 ఇక్కడ నేనార్లు ఉంది, బట్ నేనార్లు కాదు, దట్ నకారం పోతే ఏను ఆర్లు. ఏను అంటే 5 అని అర్థం. ఏను అంటే 5, ఆరులు అంటే 5 సార్లు 6, 7 ఏను ఆరులు, తర్వాత 6 మూళ్ళు. ఇక్కడ కూడా వేడుకతో 6 మూళ్ళు, 3 6 సార్లు ఇలా వేసి ఇదొక నెంబరు. తర్వాత 30 మూటను గుణించి చెప్పు ధ్రువముగా, అంటే కన్ఫర్మ్డ్గా చెప్పు ఆన్సర్ అని అంటున్నాడు. ఇప్పుడు నెక్స్ట్ స్లైడ్కి వెళ్ళండి సార్. ఇప్పుడు చూడండి, ఒక్కొక్కటే వదల్సి వస్తాం. 7 నెక్స్ట్, ఇక్కడ 7 అంటే ఇప్పుడు 7 రావాలి. ఏనార్లు అంటే 6 is to be written 5 times. ఏను అంటే 5 సార్లు 6లు రాయాలి, అంటే 6 is to be written 5 times. అంటే ఎలా వస్తుంది? 66 66 6 అనమాట, లెఫ్ట్ టు రైట్ అయితే. 6 మూళ్ళు అంటే 3 is to be written 6 times. సో 33 33 33. ఇప్పటికి then number 1 has to be formed. How? The first word whichever you have heard, that has to be appearing in the rightmost one's place. So 7 has to come here. Next we heard about 66666. That has to come into this next to 7 on the left hand side. Then the third set of digits, they should come further left. So the ultimate number 1 will appear as 333333 66667. This is the number 1. Then number 2, 33. That is 33. Very simple. Now what is the question asking is, guninchi cheppu, do the multiplication and then tell me the confirmed answer. What will be the product after multiplying the above 2 numbers? There he is saying, that is, he is asking the question as 33 into the so much big number is equal to how much? This entire number is number 1. 33 is number 2. So number 2 into number 1 is equal to how much? Very simple. Number 2, actually, you please split into 2 numbers. 33 is nothing but 30 plus 3. So multiplication of number 1 with the 33 means multiplication of number 1 with the 30, then followed by multiplication of the same number with the 3, then you add. Ultimately, you will be getting the product of 33 with the original number 1. Now what happens? 3 into number 1. First of all, let us see. 3 into number 1 is equal to how much? Then 30 getting is not difficult. 3 into number 1. Number 1 is here. You start. That step actually I have not written, but you can see. 3 into this much big number. 3 sevens are 21. That 1 appears here. 2 is there. Then 3 6 are 18 plus 2, 20. That 2 is there, 0. Then 3 6 are 18 plus 2, another 0. Again 2. 3 6 are 18 plus 2, again 0, 2. 3 6 are 18 plus 2, 20. So up to this actually we have come up, and 2 is waiting. Then 3 into 3, 9 plus 2, 11. That 1 is appearing here. Now that 1 will be going as carry. Then again 3 into 3, 9 plus 1, 10. So 0 comes here, 1 will be waiting. Again 3 into 3, 9 plus 1, again 0. Again 3 into 3 plus 1, 10. Like that. Finally 3 into 3, 9 plus 1, 10 appears. This is the entire product. Then we multiply number 1 with 3. Now what we want? We want to multiplication with 30. It is so simple. You put this all the set of digits, then put another 0. That's all. That's nothing else. You need not do multiplication. Once you know that this step is correct, then just put a 0 at the end, but arrange the digits appropriately and see that the alignment is appropriately done. So multiplication with the 30 is done, multiplication with the 3 is done, then you add both the numbers. 0 plus 1, 1. 1 plus 0, 1. Again, all zeros, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Here, 0 plus 1, 1. 1 plus 0, 1. Again, 0, 0, 0, 0. Then 1 plus 0, 1. 1 plus 1 as it is. So the ultimate, the product will be double 1, double 0, double 0, double 1, double 0, double 0, double 1. That is, even if you read from left to right or from right to left, you will be getting the same set of digits. That is the beauty of this. So actually, now already you have seen 3 or 4 examples so far. What I expect, you imagine here, first of all, the output you decide, what pattern you want. Then what actually, how you will be able to get it? By multiplying, first of all, with some number, with the 2 varieties. Then these 2 things, if you add, that becomes the final number, number 2. That number 2, you put it into a word form, that will be giving the entire description of the number 2. Then you find out such a pattern that gives the final output. That number 1 also you design. You yourself now actually have seen Rudrambara, that we have seen. Then next sloka, Hemakara, Gati, all that sloka also, that poem also have seen. Now today we have seen this Edu Narlu. Now I think you are well trained to take up Pavulori Ganitam. Next class, yes, you must try, you can try, you will try. I wish you should try. And then ultimately, what for this course? Our old people, ancient people, they were able to do it. Why not we? Yes, we also will be able to do it. Maybe better examples we will be able to bring out. After all, writing the poems, that we will do later. First of all, get the numbers. Okay. Now, with this, we'll enter into the second part of our Vedic mathematics. Sir, Bhaskar, are you ready?
Good morning and good evening to all. Today we are going to discuss the third and fourth squaring techniques. In last session we have discussed first squaring technique Ekadigana Purvena and Yavadadikam Tavadadikikritya Vargancha Yoji. Today we are going to see the third squaring technique. Ekadikana Purvena, the meaning is 1 less than previous number. When to use that one? To calculate the squares of numbers ending with 5. The second one, Yavadadikam Tavadadiki Krutya Vargancha Yojayet. That one is used to calculate the squares of numbers above or greater than base number or more than base number. The next one is the counterpart of the second one. Yavadadikam Tavadadiki Krutya Vargancha Yojayet is to calculate the squares of numbers greater than base number or above base number or more than base number. Okay. The counterpart of it is less than base number, below base number. Okay. Less than base number means the third one you write it. Yavadhunam, Yavat plus Nyunam, Yavadhunam, Tavadhuni Krutya, Tavat plus Nyuni Krutya, Tavadhuni Krutya, Vargancha Yojayet. Yavadhunam, Tavadhuni Krutya, Vargancha Yojayet.
Go ahead with examples.
Yeah, meaning how much ever less than okay, sorry, I forgot to put it in English. Vargamcha Yojayet. Okay, Yavadonam Tavadhuni Krutya Vargancha Yojayet. See this lengthy word tava dhuni krutya, because I am giving the long pronunciation as a double A. Tava dhuni
Uni Kurcha.
yeah.
Okay, going to an example.
Okay. Tava dhuni krutya vargacha yojayati. How much ever?
What happened? Power went off.
Power. Less than base number. Subtract that much from given number. And add the square of difference. Okay. When to use? To calculate the squares of numbers less than base numbers. Okay. I am giving 2 minutes time. Please note down. After that, we will go to examples. After that, don't ask. Please show me the screen. Not. Base is always nearest higher base. In last class in Yavadharikam, base is always nearest lower base. Here, base is always nearest higher base. Right? Yeah. I'm sharing the paint. If you are unable to see, just please let me know. Okay. $98 square. Are you able to see my paint? 98 square I have written.
No.
Okay. That's why I asked. Now, 98 square I have written.
Now we are able to see. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here, 98 square, I have told what is the base number here. In this scenario, what base number we have to choose? Please ping me. $100. Yeah. Good. Very good. You started identifying what is the base number we have to choose. That means 98 means nearest higher base is 100. We can choose 100, 1000, 10,000. But what is the nearest one? 100 is the nearest one. So given number is A, 98. Base is 100 and D. In this, we have to choose D. We have to calculate like base minus a. That means 100 minus 98 equal to 2. The formula for this is a square equal to a square equal to a minus d into base plus d square. A square equal to a minus d into base plus d square. In Yavadadikam, the formula is d equal to a minus base and a square equal to a plus d into base plus d square. But here a square equal to a minus d into base plus d square. That small observation you need to make a note. In Yavadadikam case, the given number is more than the base number. That's why d equal to a minus base. But in this scenario, given number is less than base. So d equal to base minus a. Okay, and formula is a square equal to a minus d into base plus d square. The entire mantra or whatever entire sutra, yavadunam tavaduni krutya vargancha yojiyet, is there in this formula. How much ever less than the base number, yeah, somebody kept answer also. Very good. You have they have substituted the values and kept it. Okay. 98 square equal to 98 minus 2 into base is 100 plus d square. D is 2. 2 square equal. That means 96 into 100 plus 4. That means 9600 plus 4 is equal to 9604. Right? Okay, let us do very small numbers with the base 10. Let us do 8 square. What is the base number we have to choose? Please ping in the chat. Yeah, 8 square is 64. Many people know that, but to understand the methodology we are doing, okay, don't do it with your memory, just to do it with the method by substituting the values, by identifying the what is the a, what is the base, what is the d. If you are able to do it, you can understand the concept, then you can apply the same concept for higher numbers, very big numbers. Yeah, base is 10. Given number is a is 8, base is 10, d value is base minus a, 10 minus 8, 2, a square equal to a minus d into base plus d square. That means 8 square equal to 8 minus 2 into 10 plus d square, 2 power 2 or 2 square. That means 6 into 10 plus 4 equal to 60 plus 4, 64. Right? Now let us do for 3-digit number. Now you have to do, I am erasing all the numbers, just I will keep the formula alone. You have to identify what is the a, what is the base value, what is the 997 square. Please identify what is the a value, what is the base value, what is the d value, and substitute and give me the answer. Ping me in chat window. Okay. Yeah. Please ping the answer.
గురుగారు ఒకసారి మళ్ళీ ఎలా చేయాలో చెప్తారా?
Yeah, sure. తప్పకుండా. Okay. So here I am telling A is the given number. That means we are calculating the 997 square. That means to calculate 997 square, directly given number is A. That means A is 997.
తెలుగులో చెప్పండి.
Base value, we have to choose nearest higher base. Base is the positional numbers. That means 1, 10, 100, 1000, 10,000, 1 lakh, 10 lakhs, 1 crore, 10 crores, 100 crores, 1000 crores, and so on. That means positional numbers, base number. What is the nearest higher base? That number should be higher than the given number, but it should be nearer. Given number is 997. Base numbers or positional numbers greater than 997 are 1000, 10,000, 1 lakh, 10 lakhs. Among all these, which is the nearest to the 997? 1000 is the nearest. Okay. What is the difference between the given number and the base number? That means base minus A. D is equal to base minus A. That means 1000 minus 997 equal to 3. Now you substitute. You got the values. A value you got, base value you know, and D value you know. Just a substitute in this formula. That means 997 square is equal to 997 minus 3 into 1000 plus 3 square. That means 997 minus 3, 994 into 100 into 1000 plus 9. That means 994,000 plus 9 equals to 994,009. Okay. I will give you a very small example so that you can understand. I will give you one more example of calculating 6 square. 6 square. Just calculate 6 square. Okay. For 6 square, given number is 6. Base is nearest higher base 10, and D value is 10 minus 6, 4. Okay. I am substituting the values. 6 square is equals to 6 minus 2 into 10. Sorry, 6 minus 4. 6 minus 4 into 10 plus 4 square. That means 6 minus 4, 2. 2 into 10 plus 4 square equal to 16. 2 into 10, 20. 20 plus 16, 36. Okay. So in this you need to identify what is A value. A value is always the given number. To whichever number we are finding the square, that is A. What is the base number? The nearest higher base. And what is the D value? D is equal to base minus A. Base minus given number. The difference. Okay. Getting? Now all of you do with the 7 square. 7 square. I know you people know the answer, but I am doing. Please identify what is A value, what is base value, what is D value, and substitute in the formula and get the answer, so that you can understand the method very easily. With small numbers, you can understand very easily. If anybody is facing difficulty in understanding this, that means you didn't understand how to identify A value, how to identify base value, how to identify D value. Okay, I asked 7 square. I am explaining one more time. You have to identify 7 square. That means here I am keeping placing that value A square. The given number is 7. The base value, yeah, Srihari Shanmuka, please follow. For you only I am repeating. Okay, if you have to calculate 7 square, the given number is 7 and base value is the nearest higher base. What is the nearest higher base? Means in that word itself, two adjectives are there. It is higher than the given number and it is nearest to the higher given number. The base numbers are positional digits. You are telling, right? Units place, tenths place, hundreds place, thousands place, 10,000s place, 1 lakh place. So what are the base numbers higher than given number? Leave about 1. 1 is less than 7. So leave it. 10, 100, 1000, 10,000, all those things. Among 10, 100, 1000, 10,000, what is the nearest base number to 7? 10 is the nearest base number. Nearest higher base number to given number 7. And D value is base value minus A equals to 10 minus 7. That means 3. Now you substitute, you know A value, you know base value, you know D value. Then you substitute this in this formula. That means what this formula is telling? 7 square is equals to 7 minus 3 into 10 plus 3 square. 7 minus 3 equal to 4. 4 into 10 plus 3 square. 3 square means 9. 4 into 10, 40 plus 9. 40 plus 9, 49. And the A value, the base value and D value, these three things will change depending on the given number. They are not fixed. Depending on the given number, A value will change, and automatically when A value is changed, base value will change. When base value is changed, automatically D value also will change. For 7, base number is 10. For example, if I have given 997, then base number is 1000. And if I have given 9,99,997, then base number is 10 lakhs. Okay. Now let us do for a very big number. I am giving 9996 square. You identify what is A, what is base, and what is D value, and substitute those values in the formula. And ping me the final answer. Somebody asked 9993. What if the number is 9993? 9993 square. Okay, then A value is 9993. B value is 10,000.
Base.
And sorry, B base value is 10,000. And D value is 7. In given scenario, A value is 9996, base value is 10,000, and D value is 4. 10,000 minus 9996, 4. Just substitute those values, equals to 9996 minus 4 into 10,000 plus 4 square. That means 9992 into 10,000 plus 16 equals to 9992, 4 zeros plus 16 is equals to 9992 0016. This is the answer. Kartikeya Kalaga has some doubt. Please unmute him. Sir, please unmute. They are pinging me repeatedly. So here Sairam sir has asked that if we considering 5 as a base, will there be a change for formula? Kartikeya, I think you can unmute. I think. Yeah.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, what if the base is... No, sir. What if the number is 100, sir?
Okay. Good question. I will explain.
100, sir. Number.
Sir,
100.
chat is disabled.
For base numbers, 100 square. Okay. For 100 square, that means 100 into 100. You tell me, do we have to do any multiplication?
No, sir.
1 0000.
No. Okay, sir.
Or, for example, 800 into 800. Let us take. In this scenario, are we doing any big multiplication? Or 8 into 8, 64. 2 zeros from this side, 2 zeros from this side. When they are exactly equal to base number, squaring means just appending zeros only. For base numbers, 100 into 100 or 1000 into 1000, let us take. Are we multiplying really?
No.
No, sir.
Just appending zeros. So
Okay.
that's why that is not required. That's why above base number is there, below base number is there. Why equal to base number is not there means there is no multiplication involved in multiplying the base numbers. We are just appending zeros. 3 zeros in the left side number, 3 zeros in the right side number. And we are keeping 6 zeros. Right?
Okay,
Sir,
sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes.
sir,
Sir, and
Yeah.
someone disabled chart, sir.
I don't know. Who did it?
sorry.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Sir,
For Sairam Sir's question, if it is a irregular base number also, formula will not change.
sir,
Yes.
sir, for example, if we are doing 997 square and we take the base number as 1000, instead of time being consumed, sir, will it affect the answer?
See, 997 square, right? 997.
And sir, if we take
1000
base
is the base
1000.
number. Yeah, just to substitute the values and get the answer.
Oh, sir, I did some mistake. Sir, I was like about to say that if we like take the next base, like for example, for 997, the suitable base number is 1000. So, sir, if we take 10,000 instead, then it will affect the time. Sir, instead
Yes,
of that,
definitely.
if we
Whenever you take 10,000, automatically D also will changes, right?
yes, sir.
And
Sir, but if we continue solving, sir, but if we continue solving,
unnecessarily you are complicating the problem. Here, our method is telling simplify. From 997, you are just calculating 3 square only. Hardly you are calculating 3 square only. You are simplifying. But if you take, instead of 1000, if you take 10,000, what will happen to the base minus A? Just tell me.
93. Oh, no.
10,000 minus 997. That will be 9,003 square. You just substitute. That also will give the answer. A minus, that means A minus D. A minus D means 997 minus 9003 into 10,000.
Sir, but we'll get in minus, right, sir?
Base minus, yeah. Unnecessarily you are complicating, right? Base minus A.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So the goal of Vedic maths is to simplify the problem and solve it in 2 lines.
Yeah, here you will put 9903 square. After addition, it will come to positive number. But unnecessarily you are, instead of going in a shortcut way, you are going in a very long way. Our Vedic method is telling, go in a as short as possible. So that's why we have always, I kept, choose always nearest higher base for Yavadonam. For Yavadadikam, nearest lower base. Nearest number is required. Right?
Guru Garu, sir,
Yeah.
can you tell the slokam again, sir?
In class, don't disturb. After the class, if Guru Garu gives permission, then you please repeat. Okay?
You take one example and then we can close.
Okay, sir.
9:40
Yeah.
approximately.
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
సార్ అక్కడ మీరు చూపించిన ప్రాబ్లం లో 9003 అదేంటి
Don't confuse. That's an unwanted thing for you, because somebody asked, why can't we take a 10,000 base? I have shown if we have taken 10,000 base in this scenario, what will happen? I have shown. Okay, that's not required. The person who have asked doubt, to clarify him, I have told. Okay, one more. Now you do it for very big number, 99,998. This is the last question for today. Identify what is the given number, what is the base number, and substitute and get me the answer and ping me the final answer.
99998. దానికి ఇప్పుడు దగ్గర బేస్ నెంబర్ ఏంటి? అవన్నీ ఉన్నాయి, అన్ని జీరోలు ఉండాలి. 10,000 కూడా కాదు, 1 lakh. ఇక్కడ ఎన్ని నెంబర్స్ ఉన్నాయి? 1 2 3 4 5. సో 5 zeros రావాలి. సో ఇది 1 lakh. ఓకే
Sir, is it? What is it? 9 lakhs? 9? No, it's not 9 lakhs. Won't come out.
Sir, I have sent you the answer.
Sir, answer is very big, sir.
Read out the digit. Read out the digit.
Even though
Very big, sir. It was 6000004. 9996004.
Sir, 4960004. 004.
yeah, that's correct. Even though that is very big,
Sir, if the
problems, you are able to do
Sir,
it.
if the number is 9907.
Yeah, yes, given number is
9960004.
99,998. Base is 1 lakh. 1 lakh means 5 zeros will be there. And base is base minus A. That means 2. Just substitute in the answer. 99,998 minus 2 into 1 lakh
1 lakh. ఇక్కడ
plus
ఎన్ని నెంబర్స్ ఉన్నాయో ఇక్కడ ఎన్ని నెంబర్స్ ఉన్నాయో అన్ని నెంబర్స్ ఇన్ని బేస్ నెంబర్.
0 0 0 0 plus 4 and then
ఇదే కరెక్ట్.
9999600004.
4 9s 1 6 4 zeros 4.
Yes sir, 49.
Okay, 4 9s 9999 6 00004. Exactly 10 numbers, just like a mobile number.
Sir, if we take this as a mobile number, sir, it will come as a fancy mobile number.
Very nice, Bhaskar.
Thank you, sir.
Now,
Okay.
Sir,
now shall we close చేద్దామా? Quarter to 10.
Yeah. In next session, I will discuss the fourth squaring technique. Okay. Please remember those formulas.
Sir, can I tell Namostu Ramaya, sir?
Not no. అదే చెప్పమ్మా, వచ్చేసిందా? చెప్పగలవా?
నమోస్తు రామాయ సలక్ష్మణ దేవ్యై చ తస్యై జనకాత్మజాయై నమోస్తు రుద్రేంద్ర యమానిలేభ్యో నమోస్తు చంద్రార్గం మరుగనేభ్యః.
ఎక్సలెంట్.
సార్ నేను కూడా చెప్పచ్చా సార్?
చెప్పమ్మా.
నమోస్తు రామాయ సంరక్షణాయ దేవ్యై చ తస్యై జనకాత్మజాయై నమోస్తు రుద్రేంద్ర యమానిలేభ్యో నమోస్తు చంద్రార్గం మరుగనేభ్యః.
ఓకే, నెక్స్ట్.
ఎప్పుడు వచ్చు సార్?
ఎవరు ఒకరిని పర్మిట్ చేస్తే సరే, పర్వాలేదు. ఇద్దరు పర్మిట్ చేయండి, ముగ్గురు పర్మిట్ చేయండి. చెప్పమ్మా, ఒకడే.
నమోస్తు రామాయ సలక్ష్మణాయ దేవ్యై చ తస్యై జనకాత్మజాయై నమోస్తు రుద్రేంద్రియ మానినేభ్యో నమోస్తు చంద్రార్కణ నమోస్తు
నమోస్తు రుద్ర. అక్కడ ఏం చెప్పావు చెప్పు, ఇంకొకసారి రిపీట్ చేయమా. నమోస్తు రుద్ర.
నమోస్తు రుద్రేంద్రియ మానిలేభ్యో.
తప్పు చెప్పావు. రుద్రేంద్రియ కాదు, రుద్రేంద్ర. రుద్ర ఇంద్ర, అది ఇంద్రియం కాదు అక్కడ. రుద్ర ఇంద్ర యమ, అది రుద్రేంద్ర యమానిలేభ్యో, అలా చెప్పాలి. ఓకే.
నాకు ఒక డౌట్ ఉంది.
నమోస్తు చంద్రార్కణ
మరుద్గణేభ్య.
మరుద్గణేభ్యః.
చెప్పమ్మా.
గురుగారు నాకు డౌట్ ఉంది. నేను సాయిశ్రీ.
నీ డౌట్ ఏంటి?
మీరు ఈ రోజు అది వేదిక మ్యాథ్స్ చూపించారు కదా, 66 33, దానిలో 33 మనకి ఎలా వచ్చింది?
33 అందరూ ప్రాబ్లం ఇచ్చారు కదా, దాని డైరెక్ట్ వాల్యూ ఇచ్చేసాడు. 30 మూటను డైరెక్ట్ వాల్యూ ఇచ్చేసాడు నెంబర్ 2కి. థర్డ్ లైన్ is giving the number 2 డైరెక్ట్. నో అడిషనల్ సెటప్ is required. ఓకే.
థ్యాంక్ యూ గురుగారు.
ఓకేనమ్మా. కృష్ణవేణి గారికి వెళ్ళు. ఎవరు మాట్లాడతారు? కృష్ణవేణి గారు.
వేదిక్ మ్యాథ్స్ లో అక్కడ మనం ఇవాళ నేర్చుకున్నాం కదా, అక్కడ ఇప్పుడు 100 అది 198 అయితే 198 స్క్వేర్ అంటే మన బేస్ నెంబర్ ఏం తీసుకోవాలి?
చెప్పు మరి, నువ్వు చెప్పు. 200 అవుతుంది. కానీ ఇవన్నీ ఇందాక సార్ చెప్పారు. 1 10 100 1000 10,000 ఇలాంటి వాటికి దగ్గరలో నెంబర్కి 200 తీసుకునే దానివల్ల సొల్యూషన్ ఉంది. అది ఇంకా చెప్పలేదు, పాఠం చెప్పలేదు. ఆ టెక్నిక్ తర్వాత వస్తుంది. ఆనురూప్యేణ సూత్రం తర్వాత వస్తుంది. అది దీనికి ఆ సూత్రం వేరు. ఇది నియరెస్ట్ 10 to the power of n అంటే 1s ప్లేస్ 10s ప్లేస్ 100s ప్లేస్ 1000s ప్లేస్ అంటుంది సార్. అది 200s ప్లేస్ అనంగా అలాంటి వాటికి ఇది ఉపయోగిస్తుంది ఈ సూత్రం. ఓకే, చెప్పమ్మా.
నాకు నమోస్తురామయ్య శ్లోకం ఉంది కదా, అది నాకు ముందే వచ్చా.
ఇద్దరికే వచ్చునా? వెరీ గుడ్, కంగ్రాట్స్ అమ్మా. ఇంకా ఇలాంటి చాలా పద్యాలు మీకు రానివాడు కూడా ఉంటారు, వాళ్ళకి ఇది అది అందరికి వచ్చేసి ఇంకా మళ్ళీ నేర్చుకోకూడదని లేదు. నువ్వు గట్టి ఏదైనా మీనింగ్ వచ్చునా నీకు ఇది వరకు? ఆ ఫస్ట్ లైన్ కి సెకండ్ లైన్ ఎందుకు అలా పెట్టారు వాల్మీకి మహర్షి? వీళ్ళిద్దరు ఇక్కడ కలిసి ఉన్నారు, సీతాదేవి విడిగా ఉంది, అందుకోసం 2 చెరో చరణాలు పెట్టారు. చెప్పమ్మా ఎవరో మాట్లాడారు.
గురుగారు
చెప్పమ్మా.
నేను నమోస్తు రామాయది నేను ఆ శ్లోకం చెప్పొచ్చా? నేను
చదువు ఒకసారి చదివి నీతో ఆపేద్దాం ఈ పూటకి. చెప్పేమ్మా.
సరే గురుగారు. నమోస్తు రామాయ లక్ష్మణాయ దేవ్యై తస్యై జనకాత్మజాయై నమోస్తు రుద్రేంద్ర
యమానిలేభ్యో
నమోస్తు
రుద్రేంద్ర
మరుత్నేభ్యః.
వెరీ గుడ్. ఓకేనమ్మా. అయితే అందరం కలిసి కాయేన వాచా చెప్దాం. అందరూ ఆఖరిని ఓం కాయేన వాచా మనసేంద్రియైర్వా బుద్ధ్యాత్మనా వా ప్రకృతే స్వభావాత్ కరోమి యజ్ఞం సకలం
నారాయణాయేతి సమర్పయామి.
హరి ఓం తత్సత్ బ్రహ్మార్పణమస్తు.
అస్తు.